Well, good morning, everyone, and welcome to our Thursday morning business chat. I'm Robin Blank-Mascari, and we get together on Thursday mornings to share some wonderful wisdom about the business. And on our director's call yesterday, we were talking about networking, and I shared some things, and I brought on one of our leaders and members who's been doing an amazing job reaching out because, in these times of change, people had to get creative when you couldn't be together. So a lot of people got very creative on how to be together online. And now things are opening up again, of course. But I have invited Satsander Khalsa to with us because he's been involved in many different groups. And I've asked him to share, how do you choose a group? How do you get involved? What do you say? And so I am thrilled to bring on Satsander Khalsa with us today. And I'm going to do the screen share here. So Satsander, are you with us?
I am.
All right. So why don't we start out with how do you decide which groups to get involved in, and then how do you get involved?
Well, I think the first thing that I would suggest, and this is what I did, is I joined up meetup.com, and you go on there. And what you do is you state what your interests are, things that, what fascinates you, and then check those things, those boxes, and then you'll get invitations to those meetings. So if a person's into quilting or playing lacrosse, you could check those boxes on there. And then, because it's nice to connect with people that have similar interests to yourself. So I get probably invited to 10 or 12 different meetup groups on a daily basis. Okay. And then I just see which ones are most appropriate, and whether it be a health related thing or something like that.
Okay, hold on, Satsander, just excuse me for a second, please. I'm going to mute everyone because we have some background noise. And so if you unmute your line to continue. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, so that's a great first step. Who's out there that has similar interests? So Meetup is one of the ways, and you get lots of invitations and you get to choose, right?
Correct. So you accept the ones that you want to go to and don't accept the ones that you don't want to go to, that you don't have any interest to. But it doesn't have to necessarily be a business networking thing on Meetup. If we have an interest in, okay, we'll just say quilting, just find, just do some searches for people that like to quilt, and just get together with your tribe of people. And there's definitely going to be people that are going to be showing the symptoms of aging or feeling the symptoms of aging. And within any group that you go to, I mean, we do have a product that is kind of universal. And it definitely is more attractive to people that are more mature in years.
Okay. So let me take this the next step, because we're in the relationship business. So the first thing we do is not talk about our products or company, but develop relationships. So how do you do that when you're meeting new people in a new group?
Well, usually, like in one group that I've been in for a year now, which is strictly online, we have 30 seconds to give our little elevator pitch. And basically, I try and keep it quite generic and just say that I work with a historic breakthrough in non-invasive, affordable stem cell technology. And that might be all that I say. Or I might add something, it's a great way to slow down the aging process and speed up the healing process. And that would be pretty much it. And then in this particular group, so everybody goes through that. And what I'm doing is I'm taking down notes of the people's names and phone numbers, and the people that I think could be power partners or who would be impacted by our technology. Then I will make a note. And the most important thing to do is to try and have one-on-one relationships with one-on-one meetings with people. So, and also well, what I like to do is I like to find out about them more first.
Great.
Because, people want to tell you about what they've got going on in their life and their business, etc. And just listen for the clues of what they're telling you. And it may not be a person that is appropriate for for either the product or the business, and just understand that. But the more one-on-ones that a person can do, the more opportunities you have to connect. And people will give you little clues when they're reaching out. They'll talk about, oh, they didn't sleep the night before, or for several nights they're not sleeping. So you can just listen to those clues, and I've even, the other day, I just said to one of the people in the group who was complaining about not sleeping, I said, may I offer a shameless plug to you? And he laughed, and he's looked at, yesterday I noticed that he looked at the video. So he's somebody that I've been reaching out. I also find that if people are athletic, people will let you know what sports they're into and all that. And then I'll bring up the idea that by using these technologies, that it can enhance your sports performance. So whatever it is, obviously, if there's somebody who, in the name of their business, has something to do with healing or some aspect of that, I'll make notes of that, and I will reach out to them more often than other people. So it's just a matter of really honing your listening skills to what's going on in their life, and see how there might be an interaction between what we have and who they are.
Great. Now, you said something early on, and I'd love you to clarify, because it's a term that some people may not understand. You're looking for power partners. And then I want to, and then, my experience in networking groups, like you're saying, is it's really about the relationship. So saying, I'd love to get to know you a little better. Can we have coffee? So that's what the one-on-one is. And you said so beautifully that you're more interested in them. And that is brilliant, because that's how a relationship develops. So would you share a little bit about what does power partner mean?
Well, a power partner, in this particular case, I'll just use an example from, actually it was yesterday, a woman that I met last week on a online networking group, and she has a business, and it's sort of, let me see, it's called Pulsive Energy Health and Wellness. Well, I figure that's a good person to talk to, because I didn't know exactly what she did, but it that's what she's promoting. So then when we talked yesterday, and we were on the phone for about an hour or so, and I first thing I did is I said, I want to know, where did the name of your business come from? What's behind it? And then she gave me her whole life history, which was really fun. And then I said, well, would you like to hear about what I do a little bit? And she goes, absolutely. She says, I was going to reach out to you as well. So that's how that whole thing started. And she was absolutely fascinated by what we're doing. So I use the line from Dr. Nicholas, is that the effectiveness of whatever modality that you're using, the outcomes are optimized by the use of our patches. So it's not a matter of them feeling like, oh, well, you're trying to take away my business. It's sort of like a way to add to the business.
Great, great.
To their business, so that it's just it could be another tool in their chest.
So go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, that's fine. Go ahead, Robin.
Okay. No, so you're actually doing this online, and you're doing it in person. And Meetup is how you got started, but is there any other ways that you find networking groups?
I think that, I would think just searching for the things that you're interested in. Why not hang out with people that you like and have common interest to you, whether it be, volleyball or anything like that. And, go back to quilting or crocheting or something like that. So whatever the things that, or cooking, or natural foods. So now I am involved in another organization where we do meet live, and it is an organization for medical freedom and medical sovereignty. And so we meet once a week, and I shared with a few people what I do, and then I was invited to give a 5-minute talk. So I gave a 5-minute talk, and I think I ended up with 8 or 9 people that ended up somehow getting involved with me. And there's more. And then every time that I would go to the meeting, aren't you the guy who does the stem cells? Yes. And that group can have anywhere from 60 to 100 people that will show up on a weekly basis. So we do have the commonality of medical freedom, and then we can extrapolate on that. And it's not a matter of trying to get, to get them to buy the product right away or even to look at it. It's just establishing the relationship. And, in the past, I was more transactional. Now I find that the more that I focus on the relationship and developing a relationship and a friendship and really caring about what they've got going on and figuring out how can I help them in their business and what they're doing. That's what helps cement that relationship.
That's so beautiful. I went to, I think it was eWomen's Network, and that's their whole focus. Help me understand who's an ideal client for you, because we're all out and about, and boy, how wonderful to get to know people like that and get to know what's important to them. And then they get endeared to you from doing that. Yeah. So you've been, even before, what's happened the last few years has happened, you were involved in a lot of networking groups and, meeting healthcare practitioners and all kinds of wonderful people that have gotten involved in your business. So you've been doing this for a long time.
That is correct.
You're a pro. Okay, what else do you want to share with people? And then we'll open up for some questions, because I'm sure people have questions for you.
Well, I think the questions is going to stimulate better answers. So let's just open it up right now.
Great. So if you have a question for Sat Sunder, raise your hand and then, or unmute your line, and then we can continue on, because, in our business, as many of us have heard, a lot of people say, I ran out of my list or whatever. And it's like, no, it's never ending. And there's so many different dimensions of ways you can find people. So we have someone on an iPhone SE that has their hand up. And
I think that's me, Robin. This is Connie.
Okay, great. Connie Ward.
Yeah.
All right. Meet up, Connie.
Yeah. He said meetup, and I was like, oh, okay, I need to listen to this. So it's a great strategy. So what I'm wondering is, was the health related one, the medical sovereignty meetup, that group, was that in person? The one where he was invited?
That is an in-person group.
Okay. So I guess I'm wondering, do you find this strategy more successful with online meetups or in-person meetups?
Well, if you're in person, you probably have a chance to interact with more people at any one particular meeting. But they're both effective. Just, and sometimes you'll be on a networking event, let's say an online event, and there's just no chemistry between you and the other people. So let's just move on and just realize that next week there'll be a bunch of different people on that group. But it really is a matter of the people that are in the group that are showing up on a regular basis. And that was one point, that we have to show up consistently, because that's when our credibility becomes that much more understood and believable, if we're there consistently sharing the same message over and over and over again. So
that's great. Great. Thank you so much.
Yeah, people are not interested in fly-by networkers. Somebody comes in, I've got the hottest thing, that's going on, do business with me, and then they never show up again. It's one step at a time. And so in the one group that I'm in, I think we have about 25 to 30 people. This is the online one. And I think I have like about nine or 10 people that are currently using the patches right now. And then I've had people in that group, because most of the people are mostly in their 30s. So I relate to them in regards to their parents. I said, well, you may feel like you're immortal and then you're not aging, but your parents are probably in a different place. And so I have people in that group who have, helped me connect with their parents, their aunts and uncles and things like that. So, and it is only occasionally, but, a lot of it is getting new customers, which is excellent. And occasionally you'll find somebody who is open, who wants to add our modality to what they're doing, but that's not always the case. And, whatever the thing is, I just want to get this product out there, because too good for people not to be using.
Beautiful, beautiful. Okay, Sarah has a question. She doesn't have audio right now, and she said, wondering how many signups you get on average compared to the time spent in connecting.
Well, it's hard to say, and each situation is different. So like when I go to my medical sovereignty group, I'm not going there just to promote our product. I'm going there to learn and just to connect with other people. And then in the socializing before and after, you know, and I would go to that meeting even if I wasn't promoting our business. The online one that I do, we meet for an hour and 15 minutes, and it's once a week. And I would say maybe I'm putting in an hour and a half of time afterwards, just connecting with people. And I don't know if I'm answering your question properly, but it's for me, it has been worth the time invested.
Great.
If you don't have, you know, a continuous warm market for yourself, I just like it. As we all know, a lot of times the hardest people to work with are your friends and your family. So it's just kind of nice to develop new friends and new family.
That's so beautiful. Someone told me years ago, if you're going to a new networking meeting, find out who's in charge and let them know a little bit about you and say, could you help me, you know, understand who would be good for me to connect with in this group because I'm new. And so, you know, asking people who might be, you know, a good connection. So, you know, let's say you're really a health and wellness person. You want to meet other health and wellness people. So there's many different ways to do networking. And this is so helpful, Satsunder, because a lot of people just say they need to meet new people and they don't know how. So this is another great way. And in your local area and in our newspaper, they have, you know, the different meetings. I used to go to something called Newcomers Club. It's an international service organization where you cannot promote business at all, but you can make relationships and meet people outside of that. So who else has some questions? You want to raise your hand? Oh, Heidi has a question. Why don't you unmute your line, Heidi?
Good morning, Robin and Satsunder and everyone else. I'm happy to be in a new environment in my new home. I've been here for about 3.5 months. I'm wondering if you have any suggestions on starting a new group. I love organizing people together, and I love just watching. And then I love just kind of going in totally off, you know, the meeting time and just meeting with people one-on-one, but not having them know that I'm developing relationships. So I'm wondering, how would you start a new meetup group besides just going online? Because I'm a very in-person kind of person.
Well, the only thing I know is with meetup.com, you can set up to create your own meetups. You know, and it could be focused on business or on people's hobbies or whatever, based on, you know, what is interested to you. As far as in person, I really don't have a proper answer for that, you know, as far as starting a new group in that regard.
But we have an expert on the line, Heidi, that you don't know about. Her name is Connie. And if you go to liveyoungeryoutube.com and you click on playlist and you look for Connie Ward's meetup, she did a wonderful program on how to start a meetup. So Connie, you want to share anything?
Yeah. So, yeah, I just wanted to be really respectful of, you know, kind of what's on the table here for people to have for resources. People can actually go to my website, meetupstrategy.com, and they can actually download the PDF and the audio of my strategy to start their own group.
Beautiful. Beautiful.
Excellent.
You want to write that in the chat, Connie? That's a wonderful contribution. Thank you.
Sure, I'll do that. Yep.
Okay, great. Darlene's got your hand up.
Hi, I did start my own in-person group a little over a year ago. I have been going to networking groups for quite a few years, and I just picked the qualities out of all the different groups I've been in that I really liked the best and kind of incorporated them into my own meeting. We started it kind of in the middle of COVID, but when people were being, starting to come back together again, and people were really tired of being stuck at home, and we're happy to come out and be in person again. A lot of different networking groups charge to be in the group. Most people have probably heard of BNI, and they've got some very strict rules and regulations. And that kind of group just wasn't for me. And a lot of people don't have the money to spend for in a group. And I was lucky enough to find a local restaurant that lets us use their room for free, because he doesn't open till 11 and our meeting meets from 8:30 to 10:30-ish. And so we don't have to charge a fee to be in the group. We only meet twice a month. Because of COVID, we didn't want to meet every week, and it's really worked out quite well. And we go around and everybody gets to introduce themselves. We have a speaker who gets to talk for 15 minutes. We have an education that is taught every time we meet. We give we have a lot of one-on-one type meetings with people in the group, and you tell who you've had a meeting with, who you've had closed business with. If you have something else coming up, like a meeting or a presentation, you get to invite people to them. And we do collect $1 from every person who attends. And at the end of the quarter, all that money is donated to a nonprofit. And our group has gone really well for a little over a year.
Beautiful. I'd
Excellent.
love to hear what you liked and what you didn't like in other groups.
Mhm.
We
Well,
didn't.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
We didn't like some of the real structured things that you have to have so many one-on-ones every week. You have to have closed business. You have to attend and you can't miss every week. We do try, if you can attend, we do try to have someone be a substitute for you so that there are still a large group of people at each meeting. But the main thing was, like in BNI, you have to be there. You have to do so many one-on-ones every week type thing. And life is complicated enough that we didn't want those type of structured
Beautiful.
commitments.
Well, and I was going to say that the same thing about BNI. BNI was not attractive. I mean, people who get involved with BNI for the most part usually do get business out of it, do get referrals, because you're so pressured into it. But it is a major investment to join a BNI group. And one of the reasons why I love our industry is that I like to have my freedom, and I don't want somebody telling me that I have to be somewhere every Tuesday morning at 7 o'clock. And that if I'm not going to be there, I have to get somebody to cover for me. And then I have to pay $20 for each of those meetings as well. And so I have tried out a couple of BNI groups. And for me, and I know a lot of people getting a lot of business from this, so it wouldn't take me away from, I wouldn't necessarily discourage somebody from using them, but it's not the fit for me. So Darlene, I'm with you as well. The group that I do belong to, there's no fee whatsoever. And we do try and quarterly or so have a physical get together. And I'm in the northern part of the Denver metro area. And then a lot of the people are in the southern part, and some people are in Colorado Springs, and some people are in Steamboat Springs. So it's more difficult to get together physically, but we try and do it like once a quarter or have a social event, like a Christmas party or something like that, which is really fun. And it really does bring people together. And you really do want to help each other out. And so that's the thing. If you're willing to want to help other people out and find out what you can do, and you definitely, if there's 25 people in the group, you don't necessarily know somebody that you're going to be able to refer to all 25 of those people, but there's going to be a few people you can. And when I do ask people what would be a really great referral for you, if I have that, then I'm going to look and that seed has been planted in my brain, and I'm going to see who can I help them, how can I help them to promote their business as well. So, but I definitely agree with Darlene on that. Have fun with it. I mean, we're in a fun business. What we do is make people feel good. So let's have some fun.
I love it. That's so wonderful. You guys, fabulous. This is great wisdom, everyone, especially, and for you, Heidi, who's new in a community, our next speaker on 30 Minutes of Wisdom, an introvert named K.L. Wells, moved to a new town, knew one person, and she's going to talk about creating power partners and how do you start in a new community. So that's our next 30 Minutes of Wisdom, which is right on line with what we're doing here. So I see, Elove, you have your hand up. You want to unmute your line and share?
Yes, thank you. I wanted to just add a little bit to the BNI story, because if you can find someone that is in BNI, you can always offer to be their substitute. And when you're their substitute, you go in for them, you do a little spiel that they will write for you, and you get to also do a little spiel. So you're kind of piggybacking off someone else's involvement or membership, and you can support them by showing up for them, and also support yourself and get it networked with new people.
Beautiful. Beautiful. There's endless ways to connect with people, aren't there? And that's a great one, because they are required. And I know lots of people that made that investment. They have a new business and they stay dedicated, and they built their business that way, because you are required to share leads. You are required to, and it works for some people. It's not for everyone, like Darlene and Satsunder said. So who else? Thank you so much, Elove. That was wonderful. Who else wants to share or ask a question of Satsunder about networking in general? All right. Well,
Robin, I'll share just.
Oh, good. Thank you, John.
And it just got sparked in me. And I think what we all have to remember, and I'm in this situation, and Robin knows, I lost a builder that really affected my team. But
Actually, two of them.
Yes, I did lose two of them. Thank you.
Yes.
And it reminded me that this is not like, and this is why, Saul, your information was so vital. And that I didn't get into this business to build it and then just let it go and not nurture it. And that's what we have to do. And I was reminded of that this is a nurturing process. And look, I'm going to be 70 in May. So I've recommitted myself to work 5 more years. And then I'll manage it. Or I won't, I don't know which, but that's my intent, that I feel youthful enough, and I feel vibrant enough, and I feel smart enough that information like Saul offered, I'm learning new things on Facebook, and I've got some interest in really developing YouTube. So all of those things, and just meeting people and thinking about how you talk to people, and Saul, you great point there, is getting to know people. So anyway, that's what I wanted to share. And that goes back to the saying, it's not a sprint, it's a marathon.
Correct.
Beautiful. Thank you. So anyone else have final comments? Satsunder, any final comments?
No, I think we covered most everything. Just have
Great.
fun. You know, if you let's say you're interested, I like to work out. So I go to the gym. In fact, within an hour after this meeting, I'll be in the gym. And so when I'm at the gym, it's another opportunity to network with people. Although I usually am listening to podcasts, but when I have the opportunity, but I have a few people now, people see me in the locker room with the patch on the back of my neck. What is that? And so it's just a matter of being open and what is the appropriate way without being a pain in the butt to somebody and obnoxious, just sort of make yourself inviting for other people. And
Beautiful.
I think that applies to everything in your life, to have your life be more joyful. It's just be inviting and inclusive.
Well, thank you, networker. That was really, really, really wonderful to hear. And I hope lots of you got ideas, because it's, one of the groups I was in years ago, she said, every single day you want to be expanding your network every day. So I just expanded my network. Guess what?
Doubled it. I'm back.
Ooh, Gregory.
Hi, everybody.
Welcome back.
Yeah, thank you. I'm not sure what time my body thinks it is. I was up in the middle of the night for 2 or 3 hours. And, it'd probably take a little bit to adjust to this 11 or 13-hour time change, whichever way you want to look at it. But I had an amazing experience. I actually had 2 Wednesdays this week. I had a Wednesday when I was in Asia, and I came back here and it was still Wednesday. So I time traveled. So, but Satsunder, thank you. You're an inspiration. I think I'm going to check out what's going on with the local meetups, just to get out and meet people, and what came to mind listening to everyone speak is the law of attraction, the law of intention. If, sometimes the hardest door to get out of is your own, right?
Right. Kind of like going to the gym. The hardest thing is getting in the car and going to the gym.
There you
Once
go.
you're there, it's easy. Yeah.
Yeah. So no, you're an inspiration, and if you want to meet people, get out and meet people and go to places that people are doing things you like to do, or people that, share philosophies, or, so it's a great talk this morning. Thank you very much. Good to see everyone. Good to be home.
Look at all these welcomes.
Back, Gregory.
Okay. Everyone want to unmute and say thank you to Satsunder and welcome home, Gregory.
Thanks,
Welcome.
Satsunder.
Thank
you,
Satsunder.
Welcome home, Gregory.
Welcome home, Gregory.
Welcome
back. Thank you,
today. Welcome home, Gregory.
Thanks, everybody. Welcome back.
So
Very
Matthew,
cool
I've
tip.
been okay, and I'm sure the animals were very excited to see you.
Okay,
great
Satsunder, that was wonderful. Thank you so much for
And
sharing.
Robin was even more excited.
Thanks, Sunday.
Okay.
Take care, everybody.
Thank you, everybody.
Bye.